"Stand up, old man," the prosecutor snapped, pointing across the courtroom with a voice sharp enough to crack the silence. The room turned toward the frail figure seated on the witness bench, an elderly veteran dressed in a perfectly pressed but clearly aged military uniform. His chest shimmered with medals, a bronze star, purple heart, and rows of service ribbons only a few in the room could even recognize. He held a cane in one hand and his VFW cap in the other. At first he tried to stand, his face tense with effort, knees quivering beneath him, but the years of war wounds and age had done their damage. He could barely lift himself halfway before his legs buckled, and he lowered himself back into the seat, head down, clearly humiliated. "I said stand," the prosecutor barked again. Her words rang through the courtroom, loud and cruel. "Let's hear from this so-called hero." A few spectators exchanged awkward glances. One young man chuckled under his breath. But the veteran said nothing. He just stared ahead, eyes damp, mouth shut tight. That's when the judge moved. She didn't bang the gavel. She didn't speak at first. She stood from her bench with quiet authority, her heels echoing across the hardwood as she descended toward the floor of the courtroom. Everyone watched, unsure of what she was doing. The prosecutor blinked in confusion. The veteran looked up, puzzled. The judge stopped directly in front of the old man, met his eyes, and then saluted. Gasps rose around the courtroom. The veteran's lip trembled. His hand, shaky and slow, rose to return the salute, but faltered midway. The judge gently took his wrist and lowered it. "You don't have to salute anymore, Sergeant," she said softly. "You've done more than enough. Let me stand for you now." The silence in the courtroom was profound, reverent. Every person, from the jury to the back row spectators, sat stunned. The prosecutor's confidence evaporated as she stepped back slightly, watching the moment unfold. The judge turned to the crowd and spoke not as a judge, but as a daughter of a fallen soldier. This man served 2 tours in Vietnam. He was injured in combat, awarded for valor, and returned home to a nation that forgot his name. And now we bring him here, not for a crime of violence or fraud, but because he used his disability pension to help feed and shelter homeless veterans without filing non-profit paperwork. She looked to the prosecutor. "We're prosecuting a man for helping those who were left behind." The young lawyer fumbled for words. "He still broke the law." "No," the judge said, firm now. "He fulfilled the duty this country abandoned." And then she turned to the bailiff and motioned. Moments later he returned with a folded American flag. She placed it gently into the old man's lap. "This flag was folded at my father's funeral," she said. "He didn't come back, but you did. And you kept fighting. That's why today this court salutes you." Tears streamed down the veteran's cheeks. He held the flag like something sacred, his shoulders shaking. "I wasn't trying to break the law," he whispered, voice hoarse. "I just wanted to help the ones who never came back whole." "I know," the judge said, "and you did. With more honor than this courtroom deserves." Then she looked across the room and said, "Case dismissed." And for the first time that day, the entire courtroom stood. Not for the judge, not for a verdict, but for a man who had stood for them long before they ever knew it. Later, outside the courthouse, people were waiting. Word had spread. Veterans, families, students. They didn't come to protest or shame. They came to honor. Some saluted, others just stood in silence, hands over hearts, as the old man exited the building, the flag still held tightly against his chest. That day, justice didn't come in the form of punishment. It came in the form of recognition, of dignity, of finally seeing a man not for his age or his weakness or his paperwork, but for his sacrifice. Because real heroes don't need to be loud. Sometimes they just need someone to say, "We see you." Before we end this story, let us know in the comment where are you watching from. If this story touched you, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and drop a karma in the comments below.